This week, I want to review some basic searching tools and tips and how they're applied to everyday library reference work. During a reference encounter, there are a number of factors that make a successful interaction. And it's not just providing a correct answer. In order to provide a successful interaction, a librarian must practice particular skills previous and during the reference question. In this lecture, I'll look at tools of the reference librarian, examining types of answers, and common pitfalls in a reference interaction. The librarian can take particular steps to reach a focused answer to the question that's been asked. Those steps are to categorize the answer, to visualize how the final answer will appear, and to check if the answer is proceeding in the right direction. First, categorizing the answer. In this step, you want to identify if the answer is time-consuming or quick, and let the user know the time range you believe it will take. Identify if the question is simple or complex, and if it's going to be challenging. And identify if the question is going to require current information, a quick search online, or retrospective information, a deeper search through more sources. Ask yourself, is the question specific and just a fact? Or will it be more complex and cross-disciplinary? Assess if the question requires one source or multiple sources. And if the librarian, as the librarian is assessing the answer, the librarian must ascertain if the response is appropriate for the user. So, for example, the librarian must decide how they're going to gather information based on a demographic such as the user's age. Next, visualize how the answer will appear. So, as you're looking at the question, categorize the answer and visualize if it will be a print, internet, or database answer, a textual, graphical, or statistical answer, a reference circulating or children's section answer. And finally, check if the answer is proceeding in the right direction. So you want to reevaluate and evaluate if you're heading in the right direction. And this step really comes down to checking in with the patron or user. So you can inquire with the user if the interview seems to be leading to the correct answers. Break the question up into subcategories or key terms and discuss those with the user to get a more precise idea of what they're looking for. And provide a range of materials and check in with the user if it seems like that's what they need. Next, there's a variety of types of answers that the reference librarian might be working with. There's the value-added answer, the skilled answer, and the elementary answer. This value-added answer organizes material, prioritizes resources, keeps an eye open for research needs, and presents the answer with something more than just a quick standard response. So this is the most richly informed answer that a reference librarian can give, and it's the most maybe time-consuming and skilled, but it leaves the user with the most amount of information. Next, the skilled answer is when the librarian might not have enough time to answer the question. So the skilled answer locates the correct resources and offers a convenience for the user and patron. So even though there might be as much time given, the librarian still engages the searching and engages the user. And an elementary answer is when a librarian doesn't have the right time or the correct resources. And so they can strategize to provide an answer later Or use collaboration, so giving a user further referrals, maybe to another library with those correct resources. Some common pitfalls in reference. And these might happen to any librarian. It doesn't necessarily mean they're poorly skilled. But some common occurrences that happen in reference include giving the wrong information. The librarian may give in to the pressure of time to find an answer without taking time for the correct information. An inappropriate information, so giving the researcher too much information. Avoiding the user altogether. A librarian may end up avoiding the user or patron because they don't feel adequate in their response to a question, and they might not be familiar with certain resources or technology. The librarian might have a poor knowledge of resources, so they should be aware of the resources available to them so they can answer these questions with confidence. The librarian did not follow up with the user from the reference interaction, and the librarian might not have integrated adequate search skills. In sum, you want to take the time to really assess what kind of question the user is asking. You want to work with the user, consider them a collaborator to generate new knowledge. You want to know the materials at your library. You want to be comfortable with drawing on different materials and different databases that you can work with. And stay present with the user or patron, especially if it's in real time, so face-to-face interaction or a chat. Try to stay present and notice how the user is responding and how you're responding. Try to apply this to your everyday life. Consider how you ask and answer questions on a daily basis. How do you draw on resources that you're familiar with? Do you tend to visualize the answers or the materials that might come to respond to a question? And do you notice your response and body language during that response?